So I'll introduce, I'll let Chief Kuchar start.
Yeah. Ron Kuchar, nice to meet you.
Same here.
Chief of Police.
Bob Hayes, Fire Chief. Meet ya. My name's Ray Farron. I'm from MEMA, the local coordinator out of the Agawam office assigned to Northern Worcester County.
Okay.
Yeah, and you all know me. All right, so the meeting today is more to focus in on a couple of things that I learned going through the Emergency Management 101. So I haven't been home much the last month.
Okay.
So I've been in Agawam and Franklin and then back to Agawam. So, but anyway, quite a bit of information. And the big take right now, the one focus that I want to concentrate on is we need to develop a hazmat mitigation plan. I did find out that Dennis had filed one, and it expired in 2021, which makes sense because he was in the middle of all the COVID stuff at the time.
Yeah.
And the CARES money and everything else. So, so we just need to update it and get a new modern version of it. And then we need to make it as comprehensive as we can with the idea that next year, hopefully, we will be in a good place to go for the BRIC grant, which has a capacity and capabilities component to it. And one of the, in the capacity is to resolve issues that would help make the community more resilient. So the one piece that we've been focusing on for years is, you guys can jump in?
Probably the shelter thing?
Yeah.
The fact that we don't really have a good spot for one? No generator?
No generator, that's it. Because Dennis and I had pushed for a generator way back when. We had it all the way to the desk of Governor Dukakis, and he deleted the line item. So that is why we have been for years stuck in this limbo. Mm-hmm. So we can't, and American Red Cross is now breathing down my neck saying, well, we would like to come out and certify. Well, there's nothing to certify because we need to get the generator corrected first. So that is my long-term goal, and the short-term goal is to get the hazmat and the hazard mitigation plan put together.
Okay.
I do have this I printed up. I thought it was a pretty good summary, so I thought it might be helpful to us to know where it sort of gives us a compass as to where we need to go. Mm-hmm. And what we need to do. It doesn't all have to be done at once, but these are some of the things that we need to put together over the coming years. I'm looking at a 5-year plan, and then I will be too old to do this.
So we'll pass it off to somebody else?
Not pass it off to somebody else, yes. It's time for me to sit in the rocking chair at that point.
There you go. Okay.
So, anyway, and I am working towards a certificate in emergency management, and I have a lot of FEMA classes that I need to convert to college credits, and maybe I can sneak some of the stuff that we're doing here and maybe get an associate's degree, as well as the MEMA offers a certificate program in emergency management too. I think I'm 2 classes short.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not too bad.
No, that's why I said, oh, what the hell, might as well go for it, even though I'm really too old for all this craziness. So that's where I'm at. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ray. He could probably explain, hazard mitigation better than me.
In short, the hazard mitigation plan is basically you guys identify particular hazards to your community, whether it's areas that flood frequently, if you have a particular chemical concern, hazmat concern, something like that, and identify ways that you can mitigate the risks of that to the community. So, let's say it's flooding out of a river. Okay, we're going to create flood chutes or install culverts, stuff like that. Obviously, the size of the community and what you guys identify as hazards is going to vary from town to town.
Okay.
And then this one here, the Comprehensive Emergency Management Plan. It's basically a plan that outlines how your community responds to an emergency as a whole. When do you activate your EOC? Do you have different activation levels? Who you expect to be in that EOC? What are the roles and responsibilities? It outlines the roles and responsibilities of police, highway, fire, town officials, stuff like that. Gets into, we're going to utilize ICS. This is how we're going to utilize it. It kind of identifies some of your mutual aid resources, how you're going to kind of pre-plan with them, what their purposes are going to be, stuff like that. Just kind of a general, a very comprehensive, but general overview of how you respond to an incident as a town.
One of the big questions that I had, we've already identified some of our hazards. I've looked at the floodplain maps, and we have only really a couple areas that are of concern. Mare Meadow, that area up there, have identified floodplains. But Mare Meadow happens to belong to Fitchburg,
Right.
even though it's on our property.
Fitchburg Water Supply, right.
Yeah. So I don't know how that goes. Of course, Berry Dam is another place. But again, although Hubbardston is part of it, it's not.
It's not something that would affect us if
Right.
it failed. It would be more of a, like Barry would be affected by it.
Yeah.
Because they're downstream from it.
Yeah, and we're not really responsible for that. Although I did find, in Dennis's office, I did find a book a couple books actually, on the Berry Dam plans, just in case it did float over. One of the other hazards, the big one for us is blizzards and ice storms, especially ice storms, because that took out the town in 2008. We had nothing. We were totally landlocked in, and we had nothing. We had no electricity, nothing.
Yeah, I would say the majority of our hazards are weather related.
Yeah.
We don't really have much in town that's...
Yeah, trains and trucks maybe, but even that's pretty minimal. The risk is low. I've noticed, I've sat and watched the trains go by my house, and they're following the rules of, if they have a toxic, they've got non-toxic on either side of it. So you're not going to have a chain reaction of 2 or 3 in a row going on you. So that reduces the risk quite a bit. And they seem to be very good about it because, train goes by the house every day.
Yep.
The other one that I hear a lot about from the residents is wildfires, because 45% of this land is owned by the state and it's overgrown. There's a lot of dead debris, dead leaves and branches and everything, and it's just going to, if a forest fire gets started, it's just going to feed it. What others did you think of?
Like I said, I can't really think of much else from my point of view.
Yeah.
There isn't a lot.
We're sheltered.
Which is probably a good thing.
Yeah. Heat and cold, of course. We have a rising population of folks over 65. So, although none of us want to admit to being bad, but so where do we sort of identified it. My question is, do we have a template that we can follow and to put all this?
For which one?
Well, I noticed there was a template that I found. It never would get filled in. I think it was just there as a sample.
Okay.
So but I haven't been able to find anything on the MEMA site or the mass.gov site that would help us put the whole thing together in some sort of order.
This is for the hazard mitigation?
Yep,
Okay.
it was a template that was out there.
Okay, so I can definitely reach out, or you can reach out to our mitigation unit. They may have one. I can, like I said, try to touch this in tomorrow or Thursday and see if he has one.
Okay,
The comprehensive emergency management plan, the SEMP plan, there is a template for that one, which I can get to you as well.
okay. No, very helpful.
All right, and then the one that goes hand in hand with that is what we call a COOP plan, the
Yeah.
continuation of operations. You know,
There's actually two templates out there. There's one that we have right now in the town office, and then there's another one I've seen recently that's a little shorter.
yeah, so we had a kind of a more comprehensive one that was based off of FEMA guidelines. We were using that for a while. A lot of people said this is hard, especially in small towns. Yeah, they said there's a lot of things that don't apply to us. We went through, and they were able to kind of reduce it to more of a fill in the blank, like the SEMP plan. And basically, you kind of fill one out for each department. So your town hall, your fire department, your police department, your highway department. Everything kind of gets put into one file, and it gets attached to your SEMP as an annex. And basically, it just discusses that, okay, if the fire station burned down, this is how we continue our firefighting protection operations. Or if town hall burned down, this is how we continue our town government. Or, if we had to relocate to another building, this is how, what files we would need. This is how other files can be accessed. This is where we would go. This is who gets contacted. This is the phone chain, etc.
We're gonna have to build a new building in order to have a building to go to.
I know.
Can you send that? I know I've seen it. I
Yep.
just can't remember where I saw it. Can you send that too?
Okay.
Okay. So, what's the next step, guys? Where do we want to go?
Starline Dispatching, Hubbardston Fire, 64 Williamsville Road for the two-car MPA pulling out of the driveway. Again, Starline Dispatching, Hubbardston Fire with the police, 64 Williamsville Road for a two-car MPA pulling out of the driveway. Starline,
Wait and see, I might have to go to that.
So where do we want to go from there?
So I
How
think,
do we want to approach
I
it?
think a big thing would be getting some templates together so that we can kind of see what order we need to take some things in, and then maybe if we can get Nate and Travis together, we can kind of each department break down for the COOP plan stuff. We can do all that. That shouldn't take us very long.
No.
I mean, it's pretty straightforward for us. There's only there's 8 of us in
Yeah.
the police department, so.
I think that was when, I think it was like Nate had never seen one before.
Yeah, we were
And
trying to put one together. And
Yeah. And,
we were
we
having
actually-
trouble because we didn't,
yeah.
none of us has really seen one before, so.
Yeah. So, and we had a meeting scheduled, and then kind of things all hell broke loose. Okay, templates, and then we need to do the COOP. Okay, get everybody together and get a COOP meeting.
Yeah, we can either do that through a meeting or even just by each
Virtual.
department kind of giving you
Yeah,
what we would have, how we would you know, how we would break it down.
Okay. What is your thought about having just a virtual meeting every now and then?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, you're okay with it?
Yeah, I mean, currently I don't have the setup for it, but I guess I could do it off my phone, but I think somebody stole my camera from COVID. So, yeah. Well,
So we could do it that way too.
Okay.
Or,
So if there's a
I mean,
need
a lot
to
of this doesn't probably even have to be a meeting,
No.
where we can just kind of,
email
some
it.
of it can be communicated through email, I think. I don't think we really need to,
Okay.
you know, go too far into it in a meeting, but,
Are there specific hazards that you want to kind of look at? I mean, I put together that book and I sort of made it user-friendly for the residents. But we did identify, we did include earthquake, we did include tornado. Even though we're at low risk for it, we have had a tornado come through. And we've also had earthquakes measured out, you know, saying that it has supposedly rattled a few dishes and stuff.
One of the things you can do is there's a process called thyroid threat and hazard assessment.
Oh, yeah, you have to learn about that.
Yeah, it's a FEMA thing. There's an entire book on it. It might be a little bit overkill for the town, but you can take that book and kind of break it down and adjust it to fit your needs.
Okay. I have to learn about that. I'm not quite sure what that means either. The other one that is a new one that's coming, well, I've heard about it at different conferences that I've been at, Preparedness Summit, and a few other conferences. And it's cybersecurity. And there was one interesting piece was he was talking about weather patterns at one conference, and he talked about the magnetic field that comes to the Earth and then comes around up over to the polars. But he also says on the dark side of the Earth, there's a back door, and sometimes when you get a strong solar flare, it comes right through and then swings around and goes through the back door. That has the potential to also be like, you know, a cyber attack of taking out your communications and everything else. So somewhere along the line, we got to kind of take a look at that as well. So, but that pops up on a regular basis.
Yeah, I think for stuff like, for any serious stuff that happens in town, like, you probably want to ask Travis, like, what roads we have that flood a lot.
Yeah.
Even stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then we could take the plan that we had, we should get a copy of the plan that we had that expired in '21.
Yeah. If I can find it.
Yeah, if we can find it. If we could find it, that'd be good, because then we can just kind of update off of that what we may or may not have issues with.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, there's a few books I haven't gone through, and a couple boxes I haven't gone through. So I'll sit down and get my hot chocolate and meander through it,
Okay.
see what I can find. All right, Trav, did you want to look into cybersecurity? Because it always seems to land on the police side at these conferences.
So we did, we just did Nate had got us into some cybersecurity. It was kind of like a grant or something like that.
Okay.
And I just finished one portion of it. It's kind of, it comes in cycles where it's more about like email and stuff like that. But he did, you might want to ask him about that, because
Okay.
we did kind of start doing something with it.
Okay. And what about the fire department? Where do you see your major issue with the town? And And your response, what would be your number one response?
As far as,
Some sort of emergency event?
yeah, like, I agree, the biggest thing is a weather incident. It's
Yeah,
gonna be whether it's a tornado, hurricane, or an ice event again.
yeah. I never want to see ice again.
Because we don't really have, we don't have the industry, so
Right.
there's nobody housing, chemicals that could turn into a huge event or something. Or the next after the weather would be the railroad. If there was a derailment of a certain tanker, then that would be
Yeah,
a major impact to a certain area of the town, but they do go through at a relatively slow speed, so the odds of that, I think, are very slim.
not at,
You're not gonna have
not at 10 o'clock at night.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah. It's still relatively, I don't know, I don't think you're gonna have like a 40-car derailment. I
No.
guess anything's always possible,
Hope
but
not. Yeah.
they're crossing those roads all the way through town, so,
Yeah.
and ending up in Gardner, so there's always the potential of a couple of cars, I assume. Then that would be definitely a big risk to that, whatever area of town with a certain mile radius, but for overall for the town is weather.
And they've replaced most of the rails in town anyway over the last 3 years. We're doing a lot, because we had a dumpster on the other side of the track a long, long, long time. It was full of rusty rails. They're good about maintenance. That railroad is very good about that. Okay, so it gives us, at least we have a point of focus, so we can, I'll try and find this templates. We'll try to I'll get either some emails going and I'll sit down with Nate and see what we can do about getting the coop done.
Yeah, I think a lot of it can be done through email.
Okay. And then I'll see if I can find out what there is. I've heard about it, but, I don't totally understand it.
Oh, the FARA.
Yeah.
I will pull it up on tomorrow, and I will send the link to you.
Okay. What does it stand for?
Threat hazard. Oh, I can't remember what the I is. Assessment.
Okay.
Because I think what we should do is get these together and, like I said, go back and forth through email, adding to it, and then once we get it all completed, we should have a meeting and sit down and go over it all together.
Okay.
Once we have an actually, a pretty full document, even if it's not complete, we may just add a little something here or there, but it would be easier to be able to research a few things and go, grab some data from, our
From
records
wherever.
and things like that of past stuff that I think that would be helpful.
Okay. All right. Should there be anything else that we should be discussing?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. All right. Expect a lot of emails then.
That's fine.
Okay. And we'll plan for another quarterly meeting. So this is what, November, so we'll get past the winter months, so we'll talk maybe mid-February.
Yep.
Okay, and that'll give us time to pull everything together and even try and,
Yeah, if that's enough time, and if it's not, we can push it out a month or a little bit after that, just
All
to
right.
make sure we get everything down that we need to.
okay. All right. I'll work on this and then we'll see where we are in February.
Okay,
Okay?
great.
All right.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.